Welcome, everybody, as we bring you the start of the 2017 Valpo football season with this year's first edition of Valpo Football Preview, along with head coach Dave Cicchini. This is Todd Eichow, and Dave, a lot of excitement. There certainly was progress a year ago. A lot of guys back. This is your fourth season, and that means these group of upperclassmen now are pretty much all your guys. Right. Let's just start with how off-season went and your thoughts going into this year.
Yeah, well, we had a major emphasis over the off-season in terms of having more players around for the summer and really building up the overall strength of our football team. And I think we were very successful in doing that. We had about a quarter of the team here over the summer, which was better than any season or summer off-season that we've had prior. Guys worked really hard in the weight room, got after it. We've got have a lot of players that are back that have put on a lot of muscle, and we just physically are at a point that we haven't been at over the past 3 seasons, which is a great sign.
I think you really find out about recruiting in the first couple weeks of camp.
Right.
I mean, it's great. Everybody looks great. You're always excited about the recruits you brought in. How about this freshman class?
Yeah, I think it's a great class. I mean, we're thrilled. It was a class that was on the larger side in terms of numbers. We're at about 36 right now, freshmen, which is a little on the high side, but they've been great. The best thing, though, is unlike in past seasons where we had to play a lot of freshmen, they came in and we were excited about them, but maybe they physically weren't quite ready or in some cases mentally just hadn't mastered the schemes, but we still had to push them in because we just lacked depth. That's really not the case this year. So we don't have to start a freshman. Now we have some freshmen that are definitely have cracked the depth chart and we'll get a chance to see some pretty significant playing time in our opener against Montana, but it's not a situation where we have to play them. They're playing because they're ready to go, and again, we don't have to start any of them, and that's kind of how you know that your program has been built up. You have enough depth that you're not relying upon freshmen to come in and fill a hole that you have.
And you have a lot of veterans, especially at skill positions, right, who have been 2- and 3-year starters and are all conference type players. And that's a first here for you, at least,
yes,
with Frank Katrine, Jarrett Morgan, Gene Rene, Griffin Norberg, guys who are explosive type offensive players. At least from an excitement standpoint, right, and the ability to make big plays, Bailey Gessinger as well.
Sure.
This team kind of is a step above your previous 3 years.
Sure. I mean, I think in terms of talent, in terms of we talked about strength, but that experience, that factor, and it kind of sounds, it's a little strange to say it because we don't have a large senior class. We only have 9 seniors, but we have so many juniors who have started games and played football for at least 2 years, and even some sophomores who played a lot as freshmen. So overall, that just experience, the level of experience we have across the board, obviously on offense with 9 starters back, you can see that as we go out and practice and we install plays. There's just an air of confidence. We're certainly able to install more and put more on our players, and they've taken it all in stride, and that's been great. On the defensive side of the ball, we don't have quite as many starters as on offense, but still there's a confidence, an air of just these players have been through the fire before, they're experienced, and we're hoping that pays off.
All right. We haven't even talked about the quarterback spot, and that was an area where as the season went on last year, we saw great improvement from Jimmy Seawald. He kind of took over by mid-season, and by the end of the year was playing outstanding football. He had an injury in the spring, but he's come back, and it looks like he's ready to go for the season.
No, he's had a great fall camp and really has stepped up his game. He's in better shape. He's another guy who's bigger and stronger. He's healed from his injury, and he just has that type of leadership about him. Even though he's only a sophomore, our players have rallied around him, and he has. We're looking for him to have a big year. Now, that being said, also Chris Duncan has come along, who redshirted last year, came in the same class with Jimmy, and he has had a great camp as well. So, as we tend to do in this first opener, we probably will get Chris in at some point in the game. He's worked his tail off, and he's done a great job in terms of, he took advantage when Jimmy was out for a good portion of the spring to kind of take over the reins. So he's gotten a lot of snaps and played well and deserves a shot to get in there and play too. So I'd look to see, we'd like to get both in the game against Montana at some point.
You mentioned the opener, and it is a Montana team, a traditional power like you've done. Illinois State a year ago, Eastern Kentucky the previous year, kind of challenging the program and allowing your players to see what it's like playing in a big-time atmosphere against a really high-powered program.
Yeah, well, it doesn't get any better than Montana. They've got an incredibly storied tradition. They've got a outstanding game day atmosphere. Consistently leading Division I FCS in terms of attendance. So it's going to be an incredible day, an incredible challenge for our players. But they welcome that challenge. We talk about it all the time with our players. A chance to go improve themselves against the best at the Division I FCS level has to offer, and it's going to be a challenge. Our players are excited about it. It should be a awfully fun time and a chance really to walk away from a game, being able to hold your head up high, saying that you gave it your best against one of the more talented teams that we'll see all season.
You certainly gave Illinois State kind of a push last year, and there were times there where you were winning some of the battles against Illinois State. How does this Montana team, from what you've seen on film, compare to what you saw last year?
Yeah, I think in terms of how they are on the offensive side of the ball, very different than an Illinois State team. They go very fast. They spread you out. We're going to really have to be great open field tacklers against these types of offenses, and our conditioning is really going to come into play. It's going to be in the low 90s probably on Saturday, and they're going to run a lot of plays on offense. So it's going to be a long game. It just can't be, hey, we have a great series here and there, because they're going to take the field time and time again, and we're going to have to defend against 80 or 90 snaps while our defense is out there. So that's going to be the challenge there. On the flip side, on the defensive side of the ball, they get in your face. They're physical. It is not a bend but don't break type of an operation. They're going to force the issue. They're going to hopefully be susceptible to some big plays. That's just the style of defense that they play. They're going to try to stop you from running the football, put pressure to complete passes against one-on-one situations on the perimeter, and we're going to have to be at our best on the offense in terms of just handling the different blitzes, the different fronts, and the different schemes that they're going to throw at us.
Sounds like, to keep it close, you're going to need a few big plays, right?
Absolutely. I think there's no question that in a game like this, to be able to stay in it, we are going to need to have several big plays.
Well, it certainly is exciting for the team and for the coaching staff. We wish you the best of luck this Saturday.
Thanks, Todd.
For head coach Dave Cicchini, this is Todd Eichhout. Thanks for joining us this week on Valpo Football Preview.